2003, the time where street racing was at an all-time high. With the popularity of Fast and Furious, this was a perfect moment for Need for Speed to strike while the iron was hot. And boy did they take advantage of it. Need for Speed Underground was the moment where everything changed for the Need for Speed brand. Even to this day, fans are still waiting for an entry to be just like Underground. They tried really hard with the 2015 reboot, but we'll get to that when the time comes. Underground changed a lot from what it used to be. One of the big things were taking away the police chases. I guess they did this so they can focus primarily on the street racing portion, and boy did that follow through. Instead of having a full grid of up to 8 racers, they shaved that down to 4. This made the races feel a bit more tamed in a way. It can still get a bit crazy sometimes, but it didn't feel as claustrophobic as the previous entries. I guess they were trying to go for a more realism kind of vibe too, because in the world of street racing and what was presented in Fast and Furious, they did only up to 4 at a time. This was also one of the first Need for Speed titles to have a story to drive the player to completing races. Pretty much you start out with no reputation and a dream to be the best street racer. You climb your way up the ladder to finally race the top racer, Eddie. The story is very, and I mean very simple. Not too many cutscenes and very straightforward. Become a street racer, earn reputation, beat the top guy, and win the girl. The end. Spoiler alert. Once you do start the campaign, you are given the exact number of races you have to complete to beat the game. You choose from a few stock cars from the beginning. Normally I chose the Honda Civic, but since my real life first car was a 2003 Dodge Neon, I went with the Neon this time. And boy, when I say these are the most stock looking cars ever, that is the truth. Sometimes when racing games come out, they have at least a sports version of a certain car. Not this one. This is the most basic Neon I've ever seen. But that just comes with the feeling that not everybody's going to be able to afford the top of the line race car right off the bat. They really want you to feel like you are starting from the bottom and work your way up to more prestigious cars. And I appreciate that. You also accumulate points through a style gauge. Every time you fill it up, you earn more rewards. You also get a reputation multiplier that goes towards that style gauge, and it goes by how much you have customized your ride with a rep star system, 5 stars going the max. You can also earn rewards by completing races, i.e. vinyls, tracks, cars, cover on magazines, performance parts, etc. This entry also came with 2 new race types, drag and drift. And in the story mode, it doesn't teach you beforehand on how to compete in these races. It just throws you in and you gotta learn quick. Now for Need for Speed veterans like myself, this is great because I hate sitting through long ass tutorials in a video game where I might have beaten it 10 times over. But for newcomers, this might be a learning curve. If you really want some kind of tutorial, go over to Quick Race and click L2 to watch some short video teaching you how to drift and drag. Drifting is really fun to do. You compete by racking up the most points on how well you drift around corners. The more of a chain you build up, the higher your score will be. You can drift with any car, but other cars work better than others. Obviously, like you can clearly drift better with a rear-wheel drive car like the 350Z or the RX-7, but will really have to work for it if you are racing with a Skyline or a Civic. Drifting can sometimes feel like the car puts itself in a drift, but that is just the arcade feel to it, and I don't mind it honestly. If I want realism, I'll play Gran Turismo or Forza. Drag racing. Now I have mixed feelings with the drag racing. It is the most simple thing in the world when it comes to this kind of thing. You just get 4 people and their cars and race in a straight line down the road to the finish line. Simple, right? Well, at least in the beginning feels like that sometimes. It can be fun and the sense of speed is awesome, but holy shit can it get aggravating. I don't like the obstacles that they try putting in the drag races. It doesn't feel like a real drag race, especially having traffic, because normally when people are organizing these things, they don't do it on roads where there's normally traffic. They want to have it on an empty road. Who the fuck is going to be drag racing in places like this? I know it's a video game, but if you want me to feel like a street racer, then don't put me in positions where I would never think of doing shit like this, especially when it means to progress through the campaign. And traffic. Holy shit, traffic. So pretty much the traffic is programmed to be in certain places at certain times to give you something to avoid. But if you are driving 150 plus miles per hour, you are not going to be able to have enough time to react. And it's a constant game of puzzles trying to figure out which path to take every time you restart the race. It's annoying, which is why I'm happy in quick races you could turn that bullshit off. But other than that, it can still be pretty fun. At times.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Then you have the classic modes, sprint, circuit, and lap knockouts. The driving mechanics are pretty good too. They don't feel loose and you have complete control of your car. There isn't much in terms of tuning the handling, but you can always change the transmission from auto to manual, and for me it's always manual. Now, the biggest thing about this game and a huge selling point was the customization, and I will make this claim right now. Underground 1 and 2 have the best customization ever to be put in a racing game, period. Even Carbon is up there. Now, in terms of the vinyls, okay, then clearly games like Forza have that crown, but as a complete package, Underground 1 and 2 have that throne. The biggest thing I liked about it was that every car was capable of having all the same parts be put on it. What is so difficult about putting that in future titles? Now, I think the biggest reason for that is because since this game has a total of 20 cars, which is crazy low for a racing game, but I think since they had to model out each car to be able to take all the same parts is why it would take forever to be put in a game with sometimes nearly 100 cars. Maybe if these games didn't only have 1-year life cycles, then maybe we would have way more memorable games these days. One of the things I never understood was when you choose performance parts to install, you get to choose which brand package you want. I never understood for the life of me what this was supposed to do for you. It doesn't change the tuning or affect the car in any way, shape, or form, so what was it for? Maybe you guys can tell me in the comments. One of the other things that bugged me was the constant autosaving. Now keep in mind, I am grateful for the autosaving, but it's just a little annoying sometimes when you want to go into the customization, change one little thing, come back out, and you have to go through that whole autosaving process all over again. It takes a couple seconds. I mean, granted, maybe I'm just bitching and moaning a little bit, but it just feels so annoying when you want to do one little thing and have to wait through that crap again. Just a little bit of nitpicking, but it's just something that's always on my mind with this game. I would turn the autosave off, but then I would forget to save later or have the risk of something stupid happen and the console randomly shut off for some reason. But moving on. One big thing this game did, and I think was the only one to ever do it, was have nitrous oxide be used once in every race. Not this constant refilling of nitrous oxide magically filling up bullshit that you have in racing games now these days. You have to time it perfectly when you want to use that nitrous oxide. If you use it too early, then you might regret it later when you really need it. It's a sense of risk and reward. They threw that bullshit out with Underground 2, but whatever. Underground also had possibly one of the best soundtracks in the video game ever, with songs ranging from electronica to rap, T.I. to Rob Zombie, and of course, Lil Jon. Underground was a huge change of pace for Need for Speed and paved the way for their future titles. Now the next entry in the series is where some people think they may have peaked, but we'll see how that goes when we talk about the continuation of our racer's story in Need for Speed Underground 2.